a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Those words evoke a lot of emotion. We had Star Wars Rogue One. This is part of the new Star Wars anthology. Every other year or so, we're going to get some new Star Wars films that aren't necessarily part of the episodes, if you will, or the trilogies, but a new story. This film, Rogue One, takes place between episode 3 and episode 4. This is about a group, Rebel Alliance, who try and steal the plans for the Death Star. Now, the Death Star is already being built. It's almost finished. However, there is a technician, a scientist, that is incredibly proficient at it, and he is much sought after. He's been gone. He defected from this from the Empire because it wasn't in his morals. He was kind of forced to do it. So he takes his wife and his young daughter and to a planet, and he tries to live a secret life. Well, unfortunately, they are found. He has to decide whether or not he wants to, die or be a part of it, but actually find a way to correspond with the Rebel Alliance, a way to defeat the Death Star. Um, in this, he creates an opportunity. His young daughter, um, played by Felicity Jones, has to grow up, and she becomes this star of the film. She absolutely kills it. This movie was a real incredible addition to the Star Wars universe. Um, it it's a very tall task to become a Star Wars film. Episodes 1 and 2, I think, definitely had a lot of flack against them. So Rogue One, coming hot and heavy off of Episode 7, which was a 5-star classic, it had a lot against it. Rogue One, didn't have the star power. It didn't have Yoda. It didn't have Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It had this ragtag group of people without star power, as the focal points. Could it deliver and become part of this lexicon that is Star Wars? It absolutely does. Sensational cast. I loved the pacing of this film. I feel like it's a slower burn. It's like a good build up when you finally get these action sequences, which are, I think, a little bit maybe fewer and far between compared to the other ones. They're more impactful. The ensemble cast delivers really, really well. You have ancillary characters like Forrest Whitaker's character. He does a really good job. Donnie Yen's character, really good, and his brother. They have a really good connection. Um, it's it's a perfect mix of some classic characters, which I won't spoil, with new characters that we're learning today. Diego Luna is one of my favorite actors going, and he has a character like you've never seen before in a Star Wars series, and he is really, really good. His character arc has a wonderful character arc, as well as Felicity Jones. Um, I really love the pacing of this movie. I think that um, it really just built up, and I think a lot of movies nowadays are just action, action, action. This one had a perfect mix. Every 20 minutes or so, we had a good action sequence. Um, it featured, the best of characters when you needed them. Beautiful, beautiful setups. The planets are just incredible. You've seen in trailers where a planet is destroyed. I'm not going to spoil what planet or whatever, but it looks incredible. Uh, Featuring some of the most visceral imagery you've ever seen. They absolutely know how to deliver. this planet that is destroyed, the sequencing with this is just incredible. I can't even put it into words. Like I don't know how to romanticize apocalyptic actions, but they were able to do it successfully. Uh, Gareth Edwards, coming off of Godzilla, one of my favorite movies. I think it got really overlooked. I loved his cinematography style. I loved his focus on films. This movie actually felt like it coincided. It was made with episodes 4, 5, and 6. It felt like you could just. It went hand in hand. They used, a good. Obviously, they used CG. There's definitely moments of computer generated imagery, but there's also a lot of practical effects, or at least the appearance of practical effects and makeup with some of these characters that we see, and it really, really evoked the same emotion that I had growing up watching these classic films. Um, I really enjoyed, um, you know, the different characters like Donnie Yang. He's a blind character who is trying to be Zen. He's trying to find uh, meaning with himself and the Force. Alan Tudyk plays K2, and it's a really interesting character. It's not like a lovable BB-8 or R2D2, but it is a really unique character, kind of like an Iron Giant meets like a C3PO. Um, it's a unique character for sure. If Alan Tudyk's humor, his personality, it's that to a T. Um, really cool. Trying to think of some other things that I wanted to note. Um, uh, it's I think it was written really well. Chris Weitz and Tony Gilroy, they created a really, really cool standalone film here. It's a very difficult premise, just to connect, 3 and 4. Uh, and I think they did a really good job. I mean, 4 was obviously made in '77, and to have this, brand new story with these new characters, and to have the heart that these other Star Wars films have, it really, really is a good film. I can't recommend it enough. Um, I'm trying to think of some other things I wanted to say, but this is just my initial thoughts on the film. I'm going to see it again in the theater, and maybe I'll do another review a little bit more in depth. Maybe have some spoilers in it. I didn't want to ruin the movie for anybody, but I want to say thanks so much for watching this review. Please check out my other movie reviews. I see hundreds of movies a year, and I review almost all of them. So please take a look and have a great day. Hey folks, I am back with a continuation of this video. I remember what I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about the scroll. I wanted to talk about A Star Wars Story Rogue One. Technically, since there was no scroll, I'm going to say this is one of the longest previews I've ever seen. A 2.5-hour preview, if you will. Now, there's a lot of conflicting opinions on this. They don't want to call it an episode, so it shouldn't be included. The scroll shouldn't be included. It's part of a New Hope scroll. But yeah, I think it's a Star Wars film. They were advertising it initially as a Star Wars Story Rogue One. They didn't even say a Star Wars story in the on the screen. It just said like, at least it said in a galaxy far, far away, a long time away. At least it said that, and then like 5 minutes later, it said Rogue One. I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't have it in there. I personally feel like at least say a Star Wars story at minimum. Um, why not? I see there's conflicting opinions on it, but um, it just makes people happy. I don't think anyone would be unhappy if it was included. I don't think anyone. I think the pros outweigh the negatives. Why not give people like myself who are fans of the series, who are fans of the different um, you know animated series and stuff? Why not just continue with it? I think that it just intensifies the aura and it makes the experience that much better. That's just my personal opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think of it. Please leave a comment. Do you think the scroll should be included? Do you think that it doesn't need it without being an episode? Um, I think they've got a Han Solo film and a Boba Fett movie coming out next. So it's like every other year we're going to get one of these. Every other year we're going to get an episode. So it's pretty cool. Pretty soon they're probably just going to reboot them all in about 9 years. So, yeah. Thanks so much for watching my videos. Once again, I really, truly appreciate it. If you have any recommendations for other movies you want me to watch or maybe avoid, please leave that in the comments. This is your buddy, your pal, London Hawthorne. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you for watching my videos. I promise in my follow-up review, when I see it again, it'll be a little bit more concise, and there will probably be spoilers. Dun, 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 dun.